Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure having you today with me, and I want to teach you guys how to make a really interesting space shooter game. So, this space shooter game consists of three videos in which we will be learning how to make the different, the different sprites and the how we shoot the bullet, and as you can see, the opponent or the enemy, it's changing costume, so it will be really interesting making this. And this series is, as I told you before, is going to be divided into three parts. So today I will be teaching you how to make this game right here. So I'll just reload the screen. So in this game, we've made the enemy and we have made ourself or us, in which we can fire a bullet. And as you can see, I'm having to reload my screen because I haven't made the reset function, which resets the whole game. So I can fire a bullet today. So today we'll be learning how to fire the bullet and how to make the movement of ourselves and the opponent, the enemy. So I'll open a new tab. I'll go in my code.org. I'll go into Game Lab and make a new project. And I'll convert this into block mode. So first of all, we need to drag in the three different sprites which we will make. So this is the background. I'll just give it the name. This will be the enemy, and this will be our ship. We can name it us. And I'll set the animation for each of them. And I'll set the animation. Dot set animation. Of course, you can choose anything you like, anything you fancy. I'll just be choosing a really fantastic space costume. Okay, BCK ground. Let's add that in. And I will set these position of my enemy. I'll also give this an animation. I'll go in vehicles, and these are all our enemies. So I'll just pick anyone, and I'll give the enemy the costume. I'll do the same for our ship. Go to vehicles and choose anyone I like. I'll just choosing this Plaship 3 red one, and I'll choose it right here. I'll just drag in the draw sprites, and we'll see our sprites, all of them. I'll give this one position and make them smaller. I'll go in my sprites and scale. We don't need to set and scale for the background, obviously, so I'll just be doing so for our enemies and us. So each of them can have a scale of 0.6. Same for us. And as you can see, our game is set right over here. So today what I wanted is that you guys learn how to make functions, your own functions, so our code, it looks neater and tidier. So to make a function, we just go in our functions group and drag this, and whatever we code in this function will be carried out during to our own needs. So first of all, we will of course want the movement of us for our ship. So I'll write movement for our ship. You can write anything you fancy, but I'm just doing such a long name because I want you guys to be able to understand what I'm making this function for. So I'll just add the two if conditions for our left and right arrow keys, which indicate our ship to move. So I'll just write if we press our right key, then we have an x velocity. The velocity x equals -4. And if we release our right key, if it goes up, if the key went up right, then we don't have any velocity x. Us dot velocity x equals 0. I'll do the same for our left arrow keys. If key down left, then we have an x velocity. Us dot velocity x equals 4. Else, if our key, oops, if our, oh, I'll just do it again. If our, oh, what's happening? Oh, I just need to drop an, I need to add an if condition. So if our key, it goes back up, if key went up, left, then we don't have any velocity and we're just stuck in that position, which is a good thing. Okay, so let's run the program. And you'll see that nothing's working because we haven't called the program in our function draw. This is mandatory because we've just made a function, but we haven't told the computer to carry out that function. So I'll just drag that in here and I'll write the same name as we gave our function over here as the function we draw. I mean the function we made. So I'll just copy and paste that. So as you can see now, our function is called the function we made, and now you'll see that our game, it works. But there's a problem in this. It was a silly mistake of mine that whenever I press the left key, my ship, it goes to the right, and whenever I press my right key, my ship goes to the left. So I'll just change I'll just change these to the additive inverse. And yep, now it's working perfectly. Okay, so now what we want is we want the movement for our opponent, for our enemy. So I'll make another function for the movement of our enemy. And just consider that we have to make our own functions beneath the function draw. This function, which the computer already gives us, we have to make it after that, after it. And then we have to call it inside the function draw. So remember to call it. So I'll just name this movement for our enemy. So I have dragon if condition. So what we need to do is that first we need to assign it a velocity, and then we need to write if conditions that if our ship, it reaches this position, or it reaches the position 300 or 350, its velocity is changed into -3 or -4, or the additive inverse of the velocity which we gave earlier. And if it reaches the x position 50, then it again the additive inverse of the velocity is done. Okay, so first of all I'll just assign it a velocity. I'll do that, so I'll do it locally. So I'll write enemy dot velocity x is 4. And over here I'll write if our enemy dot x equals, or we'll write if our enemy dot x less than 50, then our velocity um changes to its additive inverse, which is in this case the additive inverse of 4 is -4. And I'll add an else condition within another if condition, and I'll write if enemy dot x is more than 350, then our enemy dot velocity x equals the additive inverse of -4, which is 4. And now all I have to do is call it in our function draw, and I'll name it the um the name which I gave it earlier. So you'll see that our enemy just ran out of our screen. So the reason due to that is because we've swapped these two around. So now what I do is I'll swap it back around again. And I'll give it a run now, and you'll see that our game is working perfectly, and the enemy ship and we both have control of ourselves. And now all we have to do is that we have to make the bullet, and we have to give it velocity when we press space, and we have to make it destroy the enemy ship when it touches it. So I'll make another sprite called bullet. Oh, sorry, not in caps. Bullet. I'll give it a position of us dot x and us dot y, and I'll give an animation bullet dot set animation. And now actually I wanted to personalize my bullet, so what I did was that I uploaded my own image. So I opened another tab and I just wrote 2D transparent laser, and I went in images. I chose any one of those, so I know this one it's transparent, so I'll save it. I'll save the image as I had previously already saved it. I'll just do it again for you guys. I'll replace it, and now you'll see that our bullet is set to downloads, and I'll just remove this tab, and I'll go to the animation tab, and I'll add it. Click the upload image, and this is the bullet. So I'll just double click it. So I'll just delete this. And now I'll just set the animation, and I'll set the scale for our animation. So that is bullet.scale 0.05. So now we'll see that it's right in the middle over here. So what we'll do now is that we'll make it invisible, so it's not visible till we don't press space. So I'll just make it bullet.visible equals false, and I'll make another function which tells us we instruct the computer that if we press the space key, then our bullet, it should be visible and it should have a velocity. So what I'll do now is that I'll name the function shooting the bullet, and I will write that I'll add an if condition that if we press our space key, so if key down space, if key down space, then bullet dot velocity y, it should go forward, so it should be it should have a negative value, which is we'll give it a value of -7. And first of all, of course, we need to make it visible, so I'll make it visible right over here. So bullet.visible equals true. So I'll also call it in our function draw. Alright, shooting the bullet. So I'll run it. And now, as you can see, when I shoot the bullet, it just emerges right out in the middle. So I'll just do it again. I move this right over here and it goes out in from the middle. So that is because we haven't over here, we haven't wrote the bullet. It should be when we press the space key, it should be this its x position should be the same as its the us.x. So the us.x, the bullet.x equals us.x. So I'll write that. Now you guys will be asking that I have already wrote that our bullet.x equals to bullet.x equals to the rocket.x or us.x over here. So why is it shooting out of the middle? Well, that's because our bullet, it only gets spawned in the starting position of the us. So the starting position of us is right in the middle. So that's the reason why our bullet, it fires out of from the middle. So I'll just over here write bullet.x equals to us.x. Oops, it's not typing. I'll just do something to make it type. Us.x. So now I'll run the program, and as I move it anywhere, our bullet fires from there. But now there's a problem that if I go somewhere else and press space, so for example, if I fire it and then I move somewhere else and press space, then our bullet, it's traveling alongside it. So to solve this problem, what we'll do is that we'll make another new function. Not new function, actually a new variable. We can name it anything. I'll just go with x. So we'll give it any value. I'm just giving it 0. And over here, what I'll write is that if we press the space key and our x equals to 0, then only all this happens. And then at the really end of our if condition, we'll write that our x has a value of 1, so that our computer doesn't read this again and that problem doesn't come. So I'll just take that out and write the and, drag the and over here, and I'll write the key down space, and our q, x equals to 1. Sorry, not 1, 0. And down here, we'll convert the x to 1. X equals to 1. So we'll run it, and now our space key, when we press the space key and I go somewhere else and try to press the space key or press the space key, the bullet doesn't go with the bullet.x, it doesn't follow the rocket.x. So that's done. And now all we have to do is when we hit the enemy with our bullet, we wanted to destroy, and it should produce a really soothing destroy sound. So I'll make another function and name it destroyed enemy. Okay, So I'll just give that. Oh, I'll just name it again. Destroyed enemy. Yeah. So what we have to do is that we have to add an if condition, that if our bullet dot is touching enemy, then our enemy dot destroy, and a sound shall be produced, which I'll choose right now. I'll just choose an explosion. How about 8-bit explosion? So I'll just call the program now in our function draw. Go to functions and over here write destroyed enemy. Okay, so now let's give our program a run. So I'll try to hit it, and as you can see, our enemy, it's destroyed, giving a really nice explosion, an 8-bit explosion sound. So I think that's it for the video, and in our next video I'll be teaching you how to make the game, which will have some progress. Like, we won't finish the game in the next video, but in the video after. So that's it for today, guys, and see you in my next video.